peace upon us. Please help us by visiting and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to click like and share. Israel, the legacy of 12 tribes. The story of Israel's 12 tribes is a foundational element of both biblical and Jewish history. According to the Hebrew Bible, these 12 tribes are believed to be the descendants of Jacob, who was also known as Israel, and his 4 wives. Each tribe is said to have received its own portion of the land of Canaan, the promised land, under the leadership of figures like Joshua. The biblical narrative of the 12 tribes is deeply interwoven with the history, culture, and religious identity of the Jewish people. This historical account, originating in ancient times, provides the basis for understanding the origins of the Jewish nation and the intricate relationships between the tribes. While the historical accuracy of this narrative is subject to scholarly debate, it remains a foundational aspect of Jewish heritage, faith, and cultural identity. The story of the 12 tribes of Israel is both a testament to the rich tapestry of ancient history and a source of ongoing spiritual and historical significance for the Jewish people. Ancient Canaan and the 12 tribes. The story begins in ancient Canaan, a land known for its rich history and diversity of peoples. According to the Hebrew Bible, the 12 tribes of Israel, descendants of the biblical patriarch Jacob, settled in Canaan. This narrative is enshrined in the biblical texts, especially in the book of Joshua. The tribes were allocated their respective portions of land under the leadership of Joshua, marking the initial establishment of Israel in the region. However, the historical accuracy of this account remains a subject of scholarly debate. Origins. The 12 tribes were the offspring of Jacob, whose father was Isaac and grandfather was Abraham. Jacob had 12 sons, and each of these sons became the progenitor of one of the 12 tribes. The names of the 12 tribes were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Biblical narrative. The story of the 12 tribes is central to the biblical narrative. The tribes are descendants of the patriarchs and matriarchs of the Jewish faith, and their journeys and experiences are detailed in the book of Genesis, particularly in chapters 29 to 50. Role in the Exodus. The 12 tribes of Israel played a significant role in the Exodus from Egypt, led by Moses. The tribes, organized into a cohesive community, were brought out of slavery in Egypt and guided through the desert on a journey to the promised land. Tribal territories. After entering the land of Canaan, the tribes were allocated specific territories. The allocation of land was a crucial aspect of their inheritance, with each tribe receiving its portion in accordance with divine instruction. Historical debates. The historical existence and precise identity of the 12 tribes are subjects of scholarly debate. Some scholars question the accuracy of the biblical account and suggest that the tribes may have been smaller groups or confederations of people. Cultural and religious significance. The 12 tribes hold deep cultural and religious significance within Judaism. The tribal divisions and traditions are preserved in Jewish liturgy, art, and customs. Additionally, the concept of the 12 tribes is symbolic of unity and diversity within the Jewish people, illustrating a shared ancestry and heritage. Challenges and dispersal. Throughout antiquity, the Israelites and later the Jewish people faced numerous challenges, including the Babylonian exile, which saw the destruction of the first temple in Jerusalem in 586 BCE. Later, they faced Roman rule, culminating in the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, and the dispersion of the Jewish population throughout the Roman Empire. Challenges and dispersal. People without a land. Babylonian exile and diaspora roots. The Babylonian exile, which began in 586 BCE with the destruction of the First Temple in Jerusalem, marked the earliest instance of Jewish dispersion. Many Jews were forcibly taken to Babylon, modern-day Iraq. This experience sowed the seeds of the Jewish diaspora, as some Jews remained in exile while others returned to the homeland when allowed. Roman dispersal. The Roman Empire's conquest of Judea and the subsequent destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE had profound consequences. Jewish communities were uprooted, and the majority of Jews in the Eastern Mediterranean and beyond found themselves in the diaspora. Rome's control and influence over Jewish life persisted for centuries. Medieval expulsions and migration throughout the Middle Ages. Jewish communities faced expulsion from various European countries and regions, contributing to their dispersion. The Spanish Inquisition in 1492, for example, led to the expulsion of Jews from Spain. Despite these challenges, Jewish communities often resettled in new lands and maintained their traditions. Eastern and Western diasporas. Jewish communities were established in both the East and West. In the East, the Jewish population thrived in regions such as Persia, Babylon, and later, Eastern Europe. In the West, Jews found refuge in North Africa, Spain, and eventually migrated to Europe and the Americas. Modern waves of migration, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Waves of Jewish migration took place due to pogroms in Eastern Europe and the rise of the Zionist movement. Millions of Jews emigrated to the United States, Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire, and other countries. Contemporary Jewish diaspora. Today, the Jewish diaspora is a diverse and global community. With significant populations in Israel, the United States, Europe, and many other regions. The Jewish diaspora remains deeply connected through shared heritage, culture, and faith. Israel, established in 1948, serves as a homeland for many Jews, but Jewish communities continue to thrive worldwide, contributing to the cultural and intellectual richness of their respective countries. Diaspora and connection to the Holy Land. The Jewish diaspora led to the establishment of Jewish communities across the world. Yet the connection to the Holy Land, particularly Jerusalem, remained deeply significant. Some Jewish communities, primarily in the Ottoman Empire, maintained a connection to the land throughout centuries, living alongside various ethnic and religious groups in the region. Babylonian exile and diaspora roots. The Babylonian exile, which began in 586 BCE with the destruction of the First Temple in Jerusalem, marked the earliest instance of Jewish dispersion. Many Jews were forcibly taken to Babylon, modern-day Iraq. This experience sowed the seeds of the Jewish diaspora, as some Jews remained in exile while others returned to the homeland when allowed. Roman dispersal, the Roman Empire's conquest of Judea, and the subsequent destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE had profound consequences. Jewish communities were uprooted, and the majority of Jews in the Eastern Mediterranean and beyond found themselves in the diaspora. Rome's control and influence over Jewish life persisted for centuries. Medieval expulsions and migration throughout the Middle Ages. Jewish communities faced expulsion from various European countries and regions, contributing to their dispersion. The Spanish Inquisition in 1492, for example, led to the expulsion of Jews from Spain. Despite these challenges, Jewish communities often resettled in new lands and maintained their traditions. Eastern and Western diasporas. Jewish communities were established in both the East and West. In the East, the Jewish population thrived in regions such as Persia, Babylon, and later, Eastern Europe. In the West, Jews found refuge in North Africa, Spain, and eventually migrated to Europe and the Americas. Modern waves of migration, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Waves of Jewish migration took place due to pogroms in Eastern Europe and the rise of the Zionist movement. Millions of Jews emigrated to the United States, Palestine, then part of the Ottoman Empire, and other countries. Contemporary Jewish diaspora. Today, the Jewish diaspora is a diverse and global community, with significant populations in Israel, the United States, Europe, and many other regions. The Jewish diaspora remains deeply connected through shared heritage, culture, and faith. Israel, established in 1948, serves as a homeland for many Jews, but Jewish communities continue to thrive worldwide, contributing to the cultural and intellectual richness of their respective countries. Zionism and the British Mandate. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the rise of the Zionist movement, a call for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to govern Palestine. During this period, Jewish immigration increased, contributing to rising tensions between Arab and Jewish communities. Emergence of Zionism. Zionism is a political and ideological movement that emerged in the late 19th century, with the aim of establishing a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The movement was a response to anti-Semitic persecution in Europe and sought to re-establish Jewish sovereignty in the ancestral land. Theodor Herzl, a Viennese journalist, is often considered the father of modern political Zionism, and he published The Jewish State in 1896. Balfour Declaration. During World War I, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration on November 2, 1917. This document expressed support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, and was seen as a significant endorsement of Zionist aspirations. The declaration had a profound impact on the trajectory of the Jewish national movement. British mandate for Palestine. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to administer Palestine, which included present-day Israel and the Palestinian territories. The mandate period began in 1920 and lasted until 1948. During this time, the British government had the responsibility to prepare the territory for self-governance. Jewish immigration. Under the British mandate, Jewish immigration to Palestine increased significantly. This immigration was a response to the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe and the persecution of Jews, especially in Eastern Europe. The Jewish population in Palestine grew substantially, leading to tensions between Jewish and Arab communities. Arab-Jewish tensions. The British Mandate era was marked by increasing tensions between the Arab and Jewish communities in Palestine. The Arab population was opposed to the growing Jewish presence, fearing displacement and loss of their own national aspirations. These tensions resulted in periodic violence and political disputes. End of the British Mandate and the birth of Israel. The British Mandate came to an end in May 1948. Following the Unpartition Plan of 1947, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the State of Israel on May 14, 1948. This declaration led to a war with neighboring Arab states. The Mandate's end and the subsequent war were pivotal moments in the formation of the modern State of Israel. Declaration of the State of Israel. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, leader of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the State of Israel just a few years after the end of World War II and the Holocaust. The declaration was followed by a war with neighboring Arab states. The borders of the newly established state were not definitively set, and the armistice lines formed after the war were provisional, leaving the territorial question open. Background and British Mandate. The establishment of the State of Israel occurred against the backdrop of the British Mandate for Palestine, which was granted by the League of Nations in 1920. During this time, the British administered the territory of Palestine, which included present-day Israel and the Palestinian territories. Unpartition Plan. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan for Palestine, which aimed to divide the land into separate Jewish and Arab states, along with an international regime for Jerusalem. The plan was approved by the UN General Assembly as UN Resolution 181 on November 29, 1947, despite opposition from Arab states. It served as a catalyst for the declaration of the State of Israel. David Ben-Gurion's declaration. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, stood before a gathering at the Tel Aviv Museum and declared the establishment of the State of Israel. This declaration marked the end of the British Mandate and the beginning of a new sovereign state. Ben-Gurion's speech emphasized the historic and emotional significance of the moment. War of Independence. The declaration of the State of Israel was immediately followed by a military conflict with neighboring Arab states, known as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, or War of Independence. The war played a critical role in shaping the borders and security of the newly declared state, recognition and international response. The declaration was met with a mixed international response. The United States, the Soviet Union, and a number of other countries recognized Israel shortly after its declaration. However, many Arab and Muslim majority countries rejected the new state's legitimacy. Modern Israel, the declaration of the State of Israel marked a significant turning point in the history of the Jewish people, providing a homeland for Jews worldwide. It remains a foundational event in Israel's national identity and is celebrated annually as Independence Day. Israel's establishment also led to significant demographic changes in the region, including the displacement of Palestinian Arabs and the creation of ongoing conflicts, most notably the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Israeli-Arab conflicts, and evolving borders. Israel's establishment triggered a series of conflicts with its Arab neighbors, including the Arab-Israeli Wars of 1948, 1967, and 1973. These conflicts reshaped the region and influenced the borders of Israel, especially with the capture of territories like the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and Golan Heights. 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The declaration of the State of Israel in 1948 was immediately followed by the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, in which several neighboring Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq, intervened in response to Israel's declaration of independence. The war resulted in an armistice that established temporary borders and set the stage for enduring conflicts in the region. 1956 Suez Crisis. In 1956, the Suez Crisis erupted when Israel, along with France and the United Kingdom, invaded Egypt in response to the nationalization of the Suez Canal. The crisis marked a significant episode in the Israeli-Arab conflict and had broader geopolitical implications. 1967 Six-Day War. The 1967 Six-Day War was a pivotal moment in the Israeli-Arab conflict. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. And in a matter of days, it gained control of the Sinai Peninsula, Gaza Strip, West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. These territories, referred to as the occupied territories, have since been a source of contention and negotiations. 1973 Yom Kippur War. The 1973 Yom Kippur War, also known as the October War, was initiated by Egypt and Syria on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism. The conflict demonstrated the persistence of hostilities and the potential for wider regional confrontations in the Middle East. Peace agreements. In 1979, Egypt became the first Arab country to make peace with Israel, resulting in the Camp David Accords and the return of the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt. In 1994, Jordan signed a peace treaty with Israel, becoming the second Arab country to do so. These agreements were significant steps toward normalization but have not resolved all regional conflicts. Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a central aspect of the broader Israeli-Arab conflict. The disposition of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, and the status of Palestinian refugees continue to be contentious issues. Peace negotiations and diplomatic efforts have been ongoing for decades, with multiple attempts to find a resolution. The Israeli-Arab conflicts and the evolving borders in the Middle East are deeply intertwined with historical, political, and cultural complexities. They have been the source of numerous wars, diplomatic initiatives, and persistent regional tensions, making the region one of the world's most geopolitically charged areas. Modern Israel. Today, Israel stands as a thriving, diverse, and technologically advanced nation. Its culture, society, and politics reflect the complexity of its history and the diverse backgrounds of its people. Israel has become a major player in the Middle East, with deep connections to Jewish history and global Jewish communities. Borders and territorial disputes. The modern state of Israel was established in 1948, and its borders have been a subject of ongoing dispute. Israel's internationally recognized borders are based on the armistice lines of 1949, often referred to as the Green Line. However, Israel has occupied territories beyond the Green Line, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, leading to significant territorial disputes and conflicts. West Bank. The West Bank is a territory that Israel captured during the 1967 Six-Day War. It is home to a substantial Palestinian population and is a focal point of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The territory is administered by the Palestinian Authority in parts, while Israel maintains military control in many areas. Gaza Strip. Gaza is another territory captured by Israel in the 1967 war, but has been under the control of the Palestinian organization Hamas since 2007. It remains under an Israeli and Egyptian blockade, leading to significant economic and humanitarian challenges. East Jerusalem. Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem following the 1967 war has not been internationally recognized. The status of Jerusalem is a central point of contention in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as both Israelis and Palestinians claim it as their capital. Golan Heights. The Golan Heights is a plateau captured by Israel during the 1967 war from Syria. Israel officially annexed the Golan in 1981, a move that has not been internationally recognized. The area remains a point of tension between Israel and Syria. Settlements. The establishment and expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem have been a contentious issue. These settlements are viewed as illegal under international law by most of the international community, and their growth has complicated the pursuit of a two-state solution in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The status of Israel's territories and the future of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remain central issues in the region's politics and international diplomacy. Ongoing peace negotiations, diplomatic efforts, and tensions shape the complex landscape of modern Israel and its territories. Ongoing challenges. The story of Israel's land is marked by ongoing challenges, particularly the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The status of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem remains a source of international debate, and diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving a two-state solution. The borders of Israel and the recognition of its sovereignty continue to be central issues in the region's politics. External threats. Nations face external threats from various sources, including neighboring countries, non-state actors, and regional conflicts. Developing effective strategies to deter potential aggressors and protect national borders is a fundamental challenge in national defense. Military capabilities. Maintaining a well-equipped and trained military force is critical for national defense. Ensuring that the military is prepared to respond to various types of threats, from conventional warfare to asymmetrical conflicts, is an ongoing challenge. Technological advancements. The rapid pace of technological innovation poses challenges for national defense. Nations must invest in modernizing their military equipment and cyber capabilities to stay ahead of potential adversaries. Counterterrorism. Combating terrorism and extremist groups is a significant challenge in national defense. This involves intelligence gathering, law enforcement, and military operations to prevent and respond to terrorist attacks. Cybersecurity. Protecting a nation's critical infrastructure, military systems, and sensitive data from cyber attacks is a growing concern. Cybersecurity challenges include defending against hacking, espionage, and disruptions of essential services. Nuclear deterrence. The possession and management of nuclear weapons pose unique challenges. Maintaining a credible nuclear deterrent while preventing nuclear proliferation and accidental use is an ongoing focus of national defense strategies. Alliance and coalition building. Many nations form alliances and coalitions with other countries to enhance their collective defense capabilities. Building and maintaining these relationships is crucial in the face of shared security challenges. Resource allocation, balancing national defense priorities with other government spending is an ongoing challenge. Nations must allocate resources effectively to meet their security needs, without neglecting other vital sectors like healthcare, education, and infrastructure, sovereignty and territorial disputes. Defending sovereignty and managing territorial disputes is a common challenge for many nations. Ongoing conflicts and competing claims over land or resources can lead to the need for continued defense measures. Adaptation and preparedness. Defense strategies must evolve to address emerging threats. Nations must continuously adapt to changing security landscapes, assess risks, and ensure they are prepared to respond to unforeseen challenges. Ethical and legal considerations. National defense often involves difficult ethical and legal decisions, especially in the context of warfare. Observing international humanitarian law and ensuring that military actions are in compliance with national and international laws is a constant challenge. National defense is a multifaceted and evolving process that requires careful planning, resources, and vigilance. It involves both military and non-military elements and requires cooperation with other nations to address global security challenges effectively. A hopeful future for the Israel-Palestine territory conflict is a shared aspiration for peace, stability, and coexistence. While the situation remains complex and deeply entrenched, there are several reasons for optimism and pathways to a more peaceful future. Two-state solution. The two-state solution, which envisions the establishment of both a sovereign state of Israel and an independent state of Palestine, remains a widely accepted framework for a peaceful resolution. This concept, endorsed by various international agreements and resolutions, provides a basis for negotiations. Diplomatic efforts, diplomatic initiatives, and peace negotiations continue, facilitated by international mediators and organizations. These efforts, although often challenging, offer a forum for dialogue and negotiation between Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Public opinion. Polls and surveys consistently show that a majority of Israelis and Palestinians support a two-state solution and desire an end to the conflict. Public pressure and grassroots movements can encourage leaders to take steps toward peace. Economic cooperation. Economic cooperation between Israelis and Palestinians has the potential to foster mutual trust and collaboration. Joint ventures, trade, and economic development projects can create opportunities for peace building. People-to-people initiatives, civil society initiatives, such as cultural exchanges, educational programs, and dialogue groups, promote understanding and empathy between Israelis and Palestinians at the grassroots level. Regional dynamics. Changing dynamics in the region, including diplomatic normalization between Israel and some Arab states, offer opportunities for regional cooperation and conflict resolution. International involvement. International support for peace efforts remains strong, with various countries and organizations committed to facilitating a resolution to the conflict. Youth engagement. Engaging and empowering the younger generations of Israelis and Palestinians can be a catalyst for positive change. Young people are often more open to dialogue and cooperation, and their involvement is essential for long-term peace. Conflict resolution strategies. The development of innovative conflict resolution strategies and models can offer new approaches to addressing the core issues of the conflict, such as borders, refugees, and Jerusalem. Humanitarian efforts. Humanitarian organizations and agencies play a crucial role in providing assistance and support to those affected by the conflict. Their work mitigates suffering and builds trust between communities. While challenges and obstacles remain, it is essential to remain hopeful and committed to the pursuit of a peaceful future for the region. The history of conflict resolution teaches us that lasting peace often requires persistence, dialogue, and the willingness of all parties to make compromises. Ultimately, a hopeful future for the Israel-Palestine territory conflict can be achieved through determined efforts. diplomatic solutions, and a shared commitment to coexistence and prosperity for both peoples. Thank you for joining us on this cosmic journey today. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the wonders of the universe with us. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another exciting space adventure. Just click that subscribe button and ring the bell. If you missed our last cosmic adventure, you could catch up right here pointing to the left. And get ready for our next space odyssey by clicking over here pointing to the right. Connect with us beyond YouTube by subscribing to Far and Beyond Earth channel for more in-depth articles and updates. Before we go, here's a thought-provoking question for you. What's most mesmerizing about Far and Beyond Earth you'd like to learn more about? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. Thank you once again for being a part of our space-loving community. Join us in our quest to explore within our world, into the cosmos, and together, let's reach far and beyond Earth. Until next time, keep looking up to the stars. Please help us by clicking like, subscribe and share for more videos. Far and Beyond Earth.